Welcome to Dark Hours FM. Tonight's story: a foggy road, a lone figure in white, a ride she never finishes. You ever drive alone at night? Not just on a city block or a quick highway sprint. I mean really alone. Miles from anywhere. Nothing but the sound of your engine and your thoughts chasing each other in circles. The road disappears into darkness ahead. Your headlights cut through fog that seems too thick to be real. And you swear, just for a second, you saw something move. This story, it starts on a night like that. October 28th, 3 days before Halloween. Tom was headed home from another long shift at the print shop, tired, eyes heavy. The world outside his windshield looked like it had been dipped in ash, gray, hollow, quiet. The radio only caught static, no matter how many times he turned the dial. That's when he saw her, a young woman standing just past mile marker 72. She wore a white dress that barely stood out in the fog. Her arms were wrapped around herself, her long black hair tangled, hanging low. She didn't wave, didn't shout, just stood there like she was waiting. Tom slowed down. He didn't know why. Something told him to keep going, but something stronger pulled his foot off the gas. "Need a ride?" he called out. She nodded slowly and climbed in without a word. Slim, maybe early 20s. Her skin was pale, almost bluish in the dashboard light. She smelled faintly of roses and something older, dust, maybe. "Where you headed?"
"Home,"
she said quietly, staring straight ahead. Tom glanced at her again. She wasn't shaking from the cold, but her hands were tightly clenched in her lap. He took off his jacket and handed it to her. She blinked slowly.
"Thank you."
He tried to make conversation, but her replies were short. One-word answers. She didn't ask him anything in return. They passed an old church, its bell tower half collapsed. She seemed to shiver when they drove by.
"Turn left soon,"
she murmured. They drove another minute, and then she sat up.
"Here."
Tom pulled over. It wasn't a driveway. It was an old rusted iron gate, barely visible through the trees. Behind it, crooked headstones stretched into the dark. A cemetery. "You sure?"
"This is where I need to go."
She stepped out, clutching his jacket. He blinked once. She was halfway through the gate. He blinked again. She was gone, not just out of sight. Gone. Tom jumped out of the car, walked to the gate. His breath came out in clouds. The only sound was wind through dead trees. No footsteps, no gate swinging. Nothing. He turned back to the car. And there it was. His jacket, folded neatly on the seat, where she'd sat, still warm. Tom didn't sleep that night. He paced, replayed every moment, questioned his own memory. By morning, he drove to the police station. He didn't expect to be believed, but he had to try. The officer at the front desk barely reacted.
"She say anything about going home?"
he asked. Tom nodded. The officer let out a tired breath.
"You're the third this year."
Tom's heart dropped.
There's a story about that stretch of road. Girl named Annabelle Morgan died in a crash back in 1976. Her boyfriend survived. She didn't. Every few years, someone stops for her. Same white dress, same gate.
He paused.
She never makes it through the gate.
Tom left the station feeling like the air around him was heavier, like he'd touched something that didn't belong to the world anymore. Weeks passed, then months, but Tom couldn't forget. He drove other roads, changed jobs, tried to forget, but sometimes, in the deepest part of the night, He'd wake up in a cold sweat, dreams of fog, of a pale figure by the road, of voices whispering in the back seat. One night, nearly a year later, he got a letter, no return address, just one sentence inside.
Thank you for helping me feel seen again.
No signature, just a faint imprint at the bottom corner, like someone had pressed dried roses into the page. So now I ask you, if you're ever driving past mile marker 72, and the fog rolls in thick and quiet, and you see someone standing by the road, will you stop? Or will you keep driving? Because some passengers, they're already dead, but they still remember kindness. Thanks for joining us in the dark. Some stories fade with the light. Others stay with you. We'll see you next time, if you make it.